The baby's wail cut through the rain like a knife. Min Jae Kong froze at his mansion's entrance, his hand still on the iron gate. He'd just returned from a meeting where he'd ordered 3 men executed. His suit was still speckled with blood. His mind was still calculating the next move against the Incheon crew. And there, in a soaked cardboard box at his doorstep, was a screaming infant. What the hell? Min Jae stared at the box like it might explode. The baby inside, tiny brown-skinned, maybe 3 months old, screamed with everything in her small body. Rain poured down on the inadequate covering someone had tried to fashion over the box. Boss. Ji-hoon, his right-hand man, appeared behind him. Is that a baby? Yes. Min Jae's jaw clenched. Someone left a baby at my gate. Should I call the police? And tell them what? That someone dumped an infant at a crime lord's mansion. Min Jae's voice was ice. Find out who did this. Check the cameras. I want names in 1 hour. But neither man moved. The baby's cries were getting weaker. Tired. The rain was soaking through the cardboard. Boss, she's going to get sick, Ji-hoon said carefully. Min Jae cursed in 3 languages. He bent down, grabbing the box and carrying it inside. Water dripped onto his marble floors. The baby's cries echoed through the cavernous entrance hall. Get me towels. Now. Staff appeared from everywhere, eyes wide with shock. Min Jae set the box on his dining table, a table where he'd negotiated million-dollar deals and planned territorial takeovers. Now it held a crying baby in a soggy diaper. There was a note, plastic-wrapped, somehow still dry. Min Jae ripped it open. Her name is Zuri. I can't keep her safe. You're the only one powerful enough to protect her. Please. M. That was it. No explanation. No details. Just a name and a desperate plea. Min Jae looked down at the baby, Zuri, who had stopped crying and was now staring at him with huge brown eyes. She was shivering, soaked, probably hungry. Sir, the towels. A maid approached nervously. Dry her off, carefully. And someone find out what babies eat. The staff exchanged panic glances. Nobody in this house knew anything about infants. Min Jae pulled out his phone, dialing his contact in city records. I need information on any missing baby reports in the last 24 hours. Black female, approximately 3 months old. Priority 1. While he waited, he watched his head maid, Mrs. Park, 60 years old and terrified, attempt to dry the baby with shaking hands. You're doing it wrong, Min Jae snapped. Sir, I've never. Give her to me. Mrs. Park's eyes went huge. Sir. I said give her to me. With trembling hands, Mrs. Park transferred the damp, whimpering baby into Min Jae's arms. He held her awkwardly, stiffly, like she was a bomb. Zuri looked up at him, her little lip quivering. Then she smiled. Actually smiled, grabbing onto his blood-stained collar with tiny fists. Something in Min Jae's chest cracked. Boss, there are no missing baby reports, Ji-hoon said, returning with his tablet. And the cameras, someone disabled them. Professional job. We're looking at the backups now, but whoever did this knew our security system. Inside job. Possibly. Or someone who knows our protocols very well. Min Jae looked down at Zuri, who had stopped shivering and was now making soft cooing sounds against his chest. Against his better judgment, against every survival instinct he'd honed over 34 years, he felt something shift inside him. Find me a baby specialist. A nurse. Someone who knows what they're doing. Pay whatever it takes. Sir, are you keeping her? Min Jae's eyes hardened. Until I find out who left her here and why. Yes. This baby is now under my protection. Anyone who tries to harm her answers to me. Drop a comment if you think Min Jae is already attached to baby Zuri. By midnight, Min Jae had learned 3 things. Babies cried a lot, they needed to eat every few hours, and his entire criminal empire was utterly useless when it came to childcare. The formula is too hot. Mrs. Park wailed. Then cool it down. Min Jae shot back, pacing his living room with Zuri in his arms. She was crying again, had been for 20 minutes straight. Nothing worked. Not the bottle, not the rocking, not the soft music someone had suggested. Sir, the nurse, Ji-hoon announced. She's here. Finally, send her in. The door opened. Min Jae expected some older Korean woman with credentials and experience. Instead, a young black woman walked in, maybe 25, with natural hair pulled into a professional bun and eyes that assessed the situation in 2 seconds flat. "You're the nurse?" Min Jae demanded. "Pediatric nurse, yes. Naomi Carter." Her voice was steady, unimpressed. She walked straight to him, hands already reaching for Zuri. "May I?" Min Jae hesitated. Zuri had finally stopped screaming and was now just whimpering against his shoulder. "She needs to be checked," Naomi said firmly. "The man on the phone said she was found in the rain. I need to make sure she doesn't have hypothermia or an infection." Reluctantly, Min Jae handed Zuri over. Naomi's entire demeanor changed. She cradled the baby with practiced ease, cooing softly while examining her. "Hi, sweetheart. Let's see what's wrong, You've had a rough night, haven't you?" Zuri stopped crying completely, just stared at Naomi with those big eyes. "She's cold, hungry, and exhausted, but she seems physically okay," Naomi announced after a thorough check. "Whoever left her took some care with her. She's clean, no signs of abuse or neglect." This was recent desperation, not long-term abandonment. "Can you fix her?" Min Jae asked. Naomi's eyebrow arched. "Fix her? She's not broken, Mr. Kang." Min Jae Kang. Recognition flickered in Naomi's eyes. Everyone in Seoul knew that name. Everyone knew what it meant. "Right. Mr. Kang, she needs a warm bath, a proper feeding, and sleep. Do you have baby supplies? We have whatever money can buy in 3 hours." "That's not how babies work." Naomi looked around at the assembled staff. "I'm going to need a quiet room, warm water, formula, the right kind, diapers, and everyone to stop panicking. Babies sense stress." "You heard her," Min Jae barked at his staff. "Move." They scattered like roaches. Naomi turned to Min Jae. "Are you the father?" "No." "Relative?" "No." "Then why?" "Someone left her at my door with a note saying I'm the only one who can protect her." Min Jae's voice was hard. "So that's what I'm doing. Your job is to keep her healthy and alive. Name your price." Naomi's eyes narrowed. "I'm not for sale, Mr. Kang. But I am available for hire. 20 million won per month, proper supplies, and complete authority over this baby's care. You don't override my decisions about her health and safety. Deal?" Min Jae almost smiled. "Almost. You have nerve, I'll give you that. I have a degree from Johns Hopkins and 5 years of pediatric experience. What I don't have is time to argue with someone who clearly knows nothing about babies." "Fine. 20 million. You start now." "I already did." Smash that like button if you're loving Naomi's confidence. By 3 a.m., the mansion had transformed. One of the guest rooms was now a makeshift nursery. Zuri, freshly bathed and fed, slept in a borrowed crib that Ji-hoon had somehow acquired from a closed baby store. Min Jae stood in the doorway, watching Naomi organize supplies with efficient precision. "She's sleeping," he asked quietly. Finally, she was overtired. Naomi didn't look up from the bottles she was preparing. Babies that young need 14 to 17 hours of sleep per day. She's probably been awake and stressed for hours. Will she be okay? Physically, yes. Emotionally? Naomi finally met his eyes. "That depends on what happens next. Are you looking for her parents?" "I'm looking for whoever left her." "That's not the same thing." "It is to me." Naomi crossed her arms. "Mr. Kang, I need to know what I'm walking into. If this baby is in danger." "She's safer here than anywhere else in Seoul." Min Jae cut her off. "I've already tripled security. Anyone who wants to harm her will have to go through me first." "And who are you exactly?" Min Jae stepped into the room, closing the distance between them. Naomi didn't back away. He respected that. "I'm someone who keeps his word," he said quietly. "I promised to protect her. So I will. Even though she's not yours." Min Jae looked at the sleeping baby, at her tiny fists curled near her face, at the peaceful expression on her brown skin. "Maybe she is now." Naomi studied him for a long moment. "You have no idea what you're doing, do you? Not even a little. Well, lucky for Zuri, I do." She pulled out a notebook. "Here's what we need. A proper crib, not this borrowed one. Age-appropriate formula. Diapers, lots of them. Clothes, blankets, a baby monitor, a thermometer, baby-safe detergent, and about 100 other things. I'll make a list." "Make it. Ji-hoon will handle it. Also, I'm going to need to stay here full-time if you want round-the-clock care. That baby needs consistency. Min Jae nodded. There are 12 guest rooms. Pick one. And you need to understand that caring for an infant isn't like running a business. You can't just bark orders and expect results. She's going to cry. She's going to need things at inconvenient times. She's going to disrupt your entire life. My life was already disrupted the moment someone left her at my door. Fair enough. Naomi glanced at Zuri again. For what it's worth, Mr. Kong, whoever left her with you made the right choice. She's lucky. How do you figure that? Because you could have called the authorities. You could have dumped her at a hospital. Instead, you're hiring the best care money can buy. Naomi's expression softened slightly. That tells me something. What? That maybe you're not as cold as everyone says. Min Jae's laugh was bitter. Don't bet on it. But when Zuri whimpered in her sleep, he was the first one to move to her crib, his hand gently settling on her tiny back until she calmed. Naomi saw it. Didn't comment. Just smiled to herself. Comment below. Do you think Min Jae is going to fall in love with being Zuri's dad? The first week was chaos. Min Jae discovered that running a criminal empire was significantly easier than managing a 3-month-old's sleep schedule. She's crying again, he shouted from his office at 2 a.m. Naomi appeared, hair wrapped in a silk scarf, wearing pajamas and an unimpressed expression. She's hungry. It's been 3 hours since her last feeding. I fed her at 11. That was 3 hours ago, Mr. Kong. Babies eat every 3 hours at this age. Min Jae followed her to the nursery, watching as she prepared a bottle with practiced ease. Zuri's cries quieted the moment Naomi picked her up. Why does she stop crying for you? Min Jae asked, frustration bleeding through. Because I'm calm. You're stressed. She feels it. Naomi settled into the rocking chair, feeding Zuri with one hand while checking her phone with the other. You can't approach a baby the way you approach your business meetings. I don't know how else to approach things. Then learn. It was a challenge. Min Jae didn't back down from challenges. Show me. Naomi looked up, surprised. What? Show me how to do it. If she's staying here, I need to know how to care for her. You have me for that. You might not always be available. Show me. Naomi studied him for a moment, then nodded. Okay. After she finishes eating, you're going to burp her. Come here. Min Jae approached cautiously. Naomi stood, carefully transferring Zuri into his arms. Support her head. Yes, like that. Now put her against your shoulder. Pat her back gently. Not that hard. Gentle. Min Jae adjusted his touch, his large hand barely tapping Zuri's small back. She let out a tiny burp. Good. See? You can do this. Something warm spread through Min Jae's chest as Zuri settled against him, her little hand gripping his shirt. She was so small, so vulnerable, so completely dependent on him. She trusts you, Naomi said softly. That's rare. Babies usually need time to warm up to people. Maybe she knows I'd kill anyone who tried to hurt her. Maybe she just knows you're safe. Min Jae looked down at Zuri, at her peaceful face. I've never been safe in my life. You are for her. That's what matters. For the next hour, Naomi taught him how to change a diaper, how to test bottle temperature, how to read Zuri's different cries. Min Jae absorbed it all with the same intensity he applied to learning enemy weaknesses and business strategies. You're a fast learner, Naomi admitted. I'm motivated. Why? She's not yours. Min Jae was quiet for a long moment. My sister was taken from me when I was 12, kidnapped for ransom. My father refused to pay, said it would show weakness. She died before I could save her. His voice was flat, emotionless. She was 6, and I swore I'd never be powerless to protect someone again. Naomi's breath caught. Mr. Kong. Zuri was left with me for a reason. Someone thinks I can keep her safe when they couldn't. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. But I'm not letting another child die because I failed them. The weight of that statement hung in the air. She's not going to die, Naomi said firmly. I won't let that happen. And clearly neither will you. Hit that subscribe button because this story is about to get even more intense. By week 2, they'd fallen into a routine. Naomi handled the day shift while Min Jae conducted business. But evenings were different. Min Jae insisted on being present for Zuri's bath time, her last feeding, her bedtime routine. You're going to spoil her, Naomi warned as Min Jae held Zuri for the third time that evening, just watching her sleep. Is that bad? Depends. Are you planning to keep her? Are you planning to leave? It wasn't an answer, but it was something. Naomi sighed. Ji-hoon told me you still haven't found anything about who left her. The investigation is ongoing. That's corporate speak for. I have no leads. Min Jae's jaw tightened. Whoever did this was smart. Professional. They knew how to avoid detection. Or desperate enough to be careful. What do you mean? Naomi settled into the chair across from him. The note said you're the only one powerful enough to protect her. That suggests whoever left Zuri knew about threats. Specific threats. Someone's after this baby, Mr. Kong. And they're dangerous enough that her own mother, or whoever wrote that note, couldn't fight them. I've considered that. Have you considered that they might come looking for her here? Let them try. The coldness in his voice made Naomi shiver. This was the man Soul feared. The one who'd built an empire on calculated violence. But then Zuri stirred, and that coldness melted instantly. Min Jae's voice dropped to a whisper. It's okay, little one. I've got you. The contrast was jarring. Beautiful. Terrifying. You really care about her, Naomi said softly. She's mine to protect now. That's not what I said. Min Jae looked up, meeting Naomi's eyes. I know. The moments stretched between them, heavy with unspoken things. Then Zuri started crying, and the spell broke. She's hungry again, Naomi said, standing. I'll get her bottle. No. I'll do it. Min Jae stood carefully, cradling Zuri. You've been working all day. Rest. Mr. Kong. Min Jae. Just call me Min Jae. Naomi blinked. I know it's informal. I don't care. You live here now. You take care of her. You take care of, he paused. You take care of both of us, really. The formality is unnecessary. A small smile tugged at Naomi's lips. Okay, Min Jae. Hearing his name and her voice did something strange to his pulse. I'll get the bottle, he said quickly, leaving before she could see his reaction. In the kitchen, Ji-hoon was waiting with a knowing smirk. Don't, Min Jae warned. I didn't say anything, boss. You're thinking it. I'm thinking that baby might be the best thing that ever happened to you. Min Jae prepared the formula carefully, testing the temperature the way Naomi taught him. She's a responsibility. Nothing more. Right. That's why you canceled 3 meetings today to be home for her nap time. Security concerns. That's why you threatened to remove someone's teeth when they raised their voice near her nursery. She was sleeping. That's why you smile when you hold her. Actually smile. I've worked for you for 8 years, boss. I've never seen you smile. Min Jae stopped, bottle in hand. What's your point? My point is that baby, and maybe her nurse, are changing you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Before Min Jae could respond, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Min Jae Kong. That's why you smile when you hold her. Actually smile. I've worked for you for 8 years, boss. I've never seen you smile. Min Jae stopped, bottle in hand. What's your point? My point is that baby, and maybe her nurse, are changing you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Before Min Jae could respond, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Min Jae Kong. Heavy breathing. Then a distorted voice. You have something that belongs to us. We want her back. Min Jae's blood turned to ice. Who is this? Return the baby within 48 hours, or we'll come take her. And everyone you love will die first. The line went dead. Min Jae stared at his phone, rage building like a storm. Ji-hoon noticed immediately. Boss. They just made the last mistake of their lives. Min Jae's office looked like a war room. 3 laptops displayed surveillance feeds. Maps of Seoul covered one wall with marked locations. Ji-hoon and 4 other trusted men stood at attention, while Min Jae paced like a caged tiger. The call came from a burner phone, disposed of immediately after. Ji-hoon reported. But we traced the ping to Gangnam District. I've got people canvassing the area now. Not good enough. Min Jae's voice was deadly calm. They threatened my home. They threatened Zuri. I want names, locations, and body bags ready within 24 hours. Boss, we don't even know who they are. Then find out. Min Jae slammed his hand on the desk. Upstairs, Zuri started crying. He froze, cursing under his breath. Keep your voices down. The baby's sleeping. One of the men coughed to hide a laugh. Min Jae's glare could have melted steel. Something funny, Sung Min? No, sir. Not at all, sir. Naomi appeared in the doorway, Zuri fussing in her arms. What's going on? She won't settle down. Every man in that room suddenly found the floor fascinating. Min Jae crossed to them immediately, his expression shifting from murder to concern. Let me try. Naomi transferred Zuri into his arms. The baby quieted slightly, her little fist grabbing his tie. There we go, Min Jae murmured. It's okay. Everything's okay. Is it? Naomi's voice was sharp. She'd noticed the maps, the laptops, the military-style setup. Min Jae, what's happening? He met her eyes. Lying wasn't an option. She was too smart for that. Someone called. They want Zuri back. The color drained from Naomi's face. What? They gave us 48 hours. And then what? It doesn't matter. They're not getting her. You can't just... Naomi looked at the assembled men, at the weapons being checked, at the cold calculation in everyone's eyes. Oh my God. You're going to war over a baby you've known for 2 weeks. Yes. The simplicity of that answer seemed to steal her breath. Min Jae, maybe we should consider. No, his voice was iron. I made a promise. Whoever left Zuri here trusted me to protect her. That's what I'm doing. Even if people die. Especially if people die. Anyone who threatens her forfeits their right to breathe. Naomi stared at him. This man who'd somehow become both monster and protector. You're insane. Probably. Does that change anything? She looked down at Zuri, who was now playing with Min Jae's fingers, completely oblivious to the danger surrounding her. This tiny baby who'd been abandoned on a doorstep and somehow landed in the safest, most dangerous place in Seoul. No, Naomi admitted quietly. It doesn't change anything. That night, Min Jae couldn't sleep. He stood in Zuri's nursery, watching her chest rise and fall in peaceful sleep. Naomi had gone to bed an hour ago, exhausted from a long day. The mansion was quiet except for the guards patrolling outside. You have no idea the mess you've created, little one, Min Jae whispered. People want you dead or gone. And I'm about to start a war to keep you safe. Zuri slept on, tiny and trusting. My sister used to sleep like you. So peaceful. She trusted our father to protect her too. His voice cracked. He failed. I failed. But I won't fail you. Talking to babies at midnight is either very sweet or very concerning. Min Jae turned. Naomi stood in the doorway, wearing an oversized t-shirt and shorts. Her hair loose around her shoulders. Can't sleep, she asked. Too much on my mind. The threat. Among other things. Min Jae gestured to the rocking chair. Sit. I'll make tea. You don't strike me as a tea person. I'm not. But you are. I've noticed. That observation seemed to catch her off guard. You pay attention to everything that matters. While the kettle boiled in the small kitchenette Min Jae had installed near the nursery, they sat in comfortable silence. Zuri's soft breathing filled the space between words. Can I ask you something? Naomi said finally. Yes. Why did you really hire me? Min Jae poured hot water over tea leaves, the jasmine blend she preferred. You were qualified. There are 100 qualified nurses in Seoul. Why me specifically? He handed her the cup, considering his answer carefully. You weren't afraid of me. I was terrified. But you didn't show it. You walked into my home, saw what I was, and still stood your ground. You treated me like a human being instead of a monster. He paused. And Zuri needed someone strong. Someone who wouldn't crumble under pressure. You knew there'd be pressure? I knew someone desperate enough to leave a baby at my door was running from something serious. I needed someone who could handle that reality. Naomi sipped her tea. And now that reality is here. Now I handle it. By killing people, if necessary. Doesn't that bother you? Min Jae looked at Zuri. What bothers me is the idea of failing her. Everything else is just business. She's not business, Min Jae. She's a baby. She's my baby now. The words came out before he could stop them. Legally, no. But in every way that matters? Yes. Naomi set down her cup. You want to keep her. Permanently. If whoever left her doesn't come forward with a damn good explanation. Yes. That's not how child services works. I don't care how child services works. I care about keeping Zuri safe and loved and alive. His eyes met hers. Tell me honestly, is she better off in the system or here with me? With us. The question hung heavy. Here, Naomi admitted. But Min Jae, you can't just decide to keep a child because you develop feelings. Why not? Her biological family abandoned her. I'm offering her everything: safety, resources, love. What more does she need? A stable home. A normal life. Define normal. Is normal better than protected? Is normal better than wanted? Naomi couldn't answer that. I'm not saying you're wrong, she said carefully. I'm saying it's complicated. Life is complicated. This decision is simple. Min Jae moved to Zuri's crib, adjusting her blanket. She stays. End of discussion. You're impossible. I'm determined. There's a difference. The next morning brought chaos. Min Jae was in a meeting with his lawyers about legal guardianship when Ji-hoon burst in. Boss, we have a situation. What kind? A woman just showed up at the gates. Claims she's Zuri's mother. The room went silent. Min Jae stood slowly. Bring her in. Secure the perimeter. I want armed guards on every entrance. Already done. Where's Naomi? With the baby in the nursery. Keep them there. No one goes near that room without my explicit permission. 5 minutes later, a young Korean woman sat in Min Jae's office, flanked by guards. She was maybe 23, thin, with circles under her eyes and hands that wouldn't stop shaking. You're Zuri's mother? Min Jae's voice was ice. No. I was her nanny. My name is Mia Song. Explain. Mia's words tumbled out in a rush. I worked for the Harris family, American diplomats stationed in Seoul. Mrs. Harris had Zuri with a Korean man, an affair. When Mr. Harris found out, he went crazy. Said he'd kill the baby before he'd raise another man's child. Min Jae's blood ran cold. Continue. Mrs. Harris tried to protect her, but Mr. Harris has connections. Security clearance. He was planning to make Zuri disappear. Make it look like an accident. Mia's voice broke. Mrs. Harris begged me to save her, to take Zuri somewhere safe. She knew about you, knew your reputation. She said if anyone could protect a baby from a powerful man, it was you. Where's Mrs. Harris now? Dead. Car accident 3 days ago. Mia's tears fell freely now. It wasn't an accident. Mr. Harris killed her. And now he's looking for Zuri. Everything clicked into place. The professional security breach. The threat. The 48-hour deadline. This Mr. Harris, Min Jae said quietly. Where is he? I don't know. But he has resources. Government connections. He'll find her eventually. No, he won't. Min Jae pulled out his phone. Ji-hoon, I need a full workup on American diplomat William Harris. Everything, finances, communications, movements. I want to know what he had for breakfast. On it, boss. Mia looked at Min Jae with desperate hope. You'll protect her? Really, I gave my word. But I need you to tell me everything. Every detail about Harris, his security, his schedule. Can you do that? Yes. Anything. Good. Min Jae stood. You'll stay here under protection. If you're telling the truth, you're in as much danger as Zuri. I know. That's why I came back. I couldn't leave her alone. Something in Min Jae's expression softened slightly. You did the right thing bringing her to me. Mrs. Harris said you were the most dangerous man in Seoul. But she also said you were the most honorable. Mia wiped her eyes. Was she right? About which part? Both. Min Jae's smile was sharp as a blade. I guess we'll find out. Naomi took the news better than expected. So Zuri's mother was murdered and her stepfather wants her dead, she summarized, bouncing Zuri on her hip. That's insane. That's reality. Min Jae watched them both, his protective instincts in overdrive. Harris doesn't know where she is yet, but he will eventually. We need to be ready. Ready how? You can't just fight the American government. Watch me. Min Jae. Harris thinks his diplomatic immunity makes him untouchable. He's wrong. Min Jae's voice dropped to something deadly. I've toppled bigger men than him. He's just another target. Naomi stared at him. You're really going to do this? Start a war with a foreign diplomat over a baby? Yes. You could lose everything. Your business, your freedom, your life. I could. But she'd be safe. Why? Why risk all of that? Min Jae crossed to them, his hand gently cupping Zuri's head. The baby grabbed his finger, smiling up at him with complete trust. Because someone has to, he said quietly. Because she deserves to live without fear. Because he met Naomi's eyes. Because she's mine now, and I protect what's mine. The intensity in his gaze made Naomi's breath catch. We protect what's ours, she corrected softly. I'm not going anywhere either. Something passed between them, an understanding, a commitment, maybe something more. You don't have to stay, Min Jae said. This is going to get dangerous. I know. That's why I'm staying. Naomi's voice was steady. Zuri needs both of us. And honestly, I think you need us too. Min Jae didn't deny it. Zuri chose that moment to grab both their hands, pulling them together while giggling. It was such a perfect, innocent moment in the middle of such darkness. She likes us together, Naomi observed. Smart baby. Are you flirting with me while planning someone's murder? I'm multitasking. Despite everything, the danger, the threats, the insanity of their situation, Naomi laughed. The confrontation happened sooner than expected. William Harris showed up at the mansion gates 2 days later with a security team and what he clearly thought was enough authority to intimidate. He was wrong. Min Jae met him in the courtyard, flanked by 20 armed men. Harris had 5. The math wasn't in his favor. Mr. Kang, Harris said in accented Korean, I believe you have something of mine. I have nothing that belongs to you. A baby. Black girl. 3 months old. She was stolen from my home. Stolen or saved? Min Jae's smile was pure predator. I know what you plan to do to her, Harris. I know about your wife. I know everything. Harris's confident expression cracked. Those are lies. I have testimony from your former nanny. I have financial records of your payments to a hitman. I have footage of you following your wife the night she died. Min Jae pulled out his phone, playing a video. And I have this, your own security footage showing you tampering with her car brakes. The color drained from Harris's face. You're insane. That's fabricated. Is it? Because I've already sent copies to your embassy, the Seoul police, and several very interested journalists. Min Jae's voice dropped to a whisper. Your diplomatic immunity won't save you from murder charges, Harris. Not with this evidence. You can't. I already did. By now, your government is recalling you. Your career is over. Your freedom is over. And Zuri. Min Jae leaned in close. Zuri is under my legal guardianship as of this morning. You'll never touch her again. She's not yours. She is now. Legally adopted. Paperwork filed. Money talks, Harris. And I have more of it than you could ever dream of. Harris's hands shook with rage. You think you've won? You think. I don't think. I know. Min Jae straightened. Now get off my property before I decide diplomatic immunity doesn't matter and solve this problem permanently. The threat wasn't subtle. Harris saw it in Min Jae's eyes, the absolute willingness to kill him right there. He backed away, his security team already retreating. This isn't over, Harris spat. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. Within an hour, news broke. American diplomat arrested for murder of wife. Evidence of planned infanticide discovered. Career destroyed, trial pending. Min Jae watched it unfold from his office, Zuri sleeping peacefully in his arms. Is it really over? Naomi asked from the doorway. For Harris? Yes. For us. Min Jae looked down at Zuri. It's just beginning. The adoption, you actually did it? You filed papers. This morning. Emergency guardianship granted due to threats against the child. Full adoption pending. But my lawyers are very good. It'll go through. You really are keeping her. I told you I would. Naomi walked into the room, sitting beside him. And what happens now? You raise a baby while running a criminal empire. I figured out. We figured out. He paused. Unless you're planning to leave once the danger passes. Are you asking me to stay? I'm asking you to consider it. Zuri needs consistency. She needs. Min Jae stopped, choosing his words carefully. She needs a mother. The weight of that statement settled between them. Is that all she needs? Naomi asked quietly. No. She needs a family, stability, love. Min Jae met her eyes. She needs us. Both of us. Min Jae. I know this is crazy. I know we barely know each other. But these past 2 weeks, watching you with her, being with both of you, it's changed everything for me. You're the most feared man in Seoul. And you're the bravest woman I've ever met. We balance each other. Naomi looked at Zuri, at this baby who'd somehow brought them together. This is the most insane situation I've ever been in. Is that a no? Let's take this one day at a time and see what happens. She smiled. But I'm not going anywhere. Zuri needs me. And maybe, her voice softened. Maybe you do too. Min Jae's answering smile was real, genuine, the kind that transformed his entire face. Maybe I do. Zuri woke up, saw them both, and giggled, reaching for Naomi with one hand and gripping Min Jae's shirt with the other, bringing them together. 6 months later, the mansion had fully transformed. Baby toys littered the living room. Zuri's laughter echoed through hallways that used to only know silence and fear. And Min Jae-kang, Seoul's most dangerous crime lord, spent his evenings on the floor teaching a 9-month-old how to stack blocks. She's going to walk soon, Naomi said, watching from the couch. She's advanced for her age. Pride filled Min Jae's voice. My daughter is brilliant. Your daughter is spoiled. And whose fault is that? Yours. You bought her 17 stuffed animals last week. She needed them. Nobody needs 17 stuffed animals. Min Jae looked up, grinning. She smiled at the elephant. What was I supposed to do? Naomi laughed, shaking her head. This was their life now, domestic and dangerous in equal measure. Min Jae still ran his empire, still made decisions that would horrify most people. But he came home to Zuri's bedtime stories and Naomi's dinner conversations. He came home to family. Ji-hoon told me you turned down the Busan expansion, Naomi said. Too much travel. I'm not leaving Zuri for weeks at a time. The old Min Jae would have gone. The old Min Jae didn't have anything to come home to. He stood, picking up Zuri. Now I have everything. Zuri grabbed his face, babbling happily. Dada. Min Jae froze. Naomi gasped. Did she just? Dada. Zuri repeated, bouncing in his arms. Dada. Min Jae's eyes filled with tears, actual tears. That's right, baby girl. Dada's here. Dada's always here. Naomi's own eyes watered watching them. This man who'd been so cold, so closed off, was now crying happy tears over a baby's first word. She knows, Naomi whispered. She knows you're her father. Legally and emotionally, Min Jae agreed. He looked at Naomi. And she's going to need a mother. Officially. Naomi's breath caught. Min Jae. He set Zuri down gently in her playpen, then turned to Naomi with an intensity that stole her breath. I know we said one day at a time, but I'm done waiting. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Marry me. Not because Zuri needs a mother, though she does. Not because it makes legal sense, though it does. Marry me because somewhere between diaper changes and midnight feedings, I fell in love with you. Naomi stared at the ring, simple, elegant, perfect. You're proposing to me in a room full of baby toys. Where else would I propose? This is our life. Messy and beautiful and ours. You're a crime lord. And you're a pediatric nurse who's seen me at my worst and stayed anyway. Your enemies will target me. They'll die trying. I'll protect you the same way I protect her, with everything I have. Tears streamed down Naomi's face. This is crazy. That's not a no. It's a yes, you're an impossible man. Yes. Min Jae slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her, soft and gentle and full of promise. Zuri clapped from her playpen, delighted by the show. Mama, she shouted suddenly. Mama. They both turned to stare at her. Did she just? Naomi couldn't finish. She knows, Min Jae said, pulling Naomi close. She's always known. You're her mother. You have been since the moment you walked into this house. Naomi picked up Zuri, and the three of them stood together, a family formed not by blood, but by choice, love, and a baby who'd somehow saved them all. We're really doing this? Naomi asked. We really are. A mafia boss, a nurse, and an adopted baby. Unconventional, but perfect. Zuri giggled, grabbing both their faces, pulling them together. Mama. Dada. And in that moment, surrounded by toys and danger and love, they were exactly where they were meant to be. So what did you think? Drop your comments below. Did this story give you all the feels? Did you love watching Min-jae transform from cold mafia boss to devoted dad? Let me know what you want to see next. Don't forget to like this video if you loved Zuri's story. Subscribe for more amazing K-drama style stories. And hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most unexpected families are the ones that save us. See you in the next story.